But even saying this message can't serve a purpose, because
Oh,
saying
it
there's
doesn't.
no liberation, there's no path,
Oh yeah.
that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't stop seeking, it doesn't
No,
stop
not
looking
at all.
for-
No, no, that's the thing. Sitting here and saying this message is exactly what this message reports about. There's no intention, there is no goal. And saying no goal doesn't have a goal. Saying there is no one doesn't come from anyone and isn't speaking to anyone.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
when you say no path, no goal, no liberation, I think, well, then I should stop waiting, or I should stop
Exactly,
hoping,
because
or...
the person thinks this is talking to it in order to bring about a result again. But that's not happening. It's just not happening, no matter how deeply the person believes it or hopes for it. It's just not what happens.
Well, when you talk about what the person hopes for, like the person thinks this message is talking to it, but if you said there isn't a person, how is your brain aware of what the person wants?
I'm not aware of what the person wants. It's just the words that come out.
But you described it quite accurately.
Well, only apparently.
What?
I would almost say this is the disadvantage of my meetings. It looks as if you can know it. I don't. I've no idea about there being a me. I've no idea on how the me functions. It doesn't
But
exist.
you describe it really well.
Well, apparently.
But why is it that in the energy of a gathering, it's different than on a Zoom?
Well, I have no idea. It just is what apparently happens.
Do you think that's
I mean, do you prefer to meet your friends on Zoom or live?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's much more ordinary without there being a real explanation for it.
When you said that, what I was worried about is kind of
But on the other hand, sorry.
Sorry.
On the one hand, it is like, as you said. On the other hand, it doesn't mean anything. So
I didn't
again,
say it meant anything.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So it could still be someone listening on the Zoom for 1 second
Yeah.
and apparently, sorry. Yeah. In that sense, it wouldn't mean anything, but yeah.
The worry I've got now, though, is now that I've come to a meeting, going back to Zoom will feel like going on a diet. When you're missing all your favourite food and you're craving cake and you're craving biscuits. I've never been on a diet. but
I know that one.
But I imagine it will feel like I'm on a diet and I'm like, oh, I'm just getting the sort of like Fanta Light or the whatever, the Coke Light or whatever.
But it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Well, it would be like that. I'm sorry for destroying the Zooms by coming.
I thought Zoom was like the pinnacle, like Zoom meetings.
Well, in Scripture it says where two or more are gathered.
Yeah. Gathered in my name, you will.
Yeah.
Tony quotes that one.
Yes, which would just be a description of what seems to be going on here.
That energetic.
What are they called?
Exactly.
Is the
Resonance.
prophet
Exactly.
The resonance.
and the people that follow the prophet is the
Which is meaningless, but for the seeker, again, it sounds very meaningful.
And it feels meaningful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels meaningful.
It
yeah.
feels like I'm on the path here because this is leading to the thing, so it reinforces the joke story, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
you think
it's
you're getting
just a
something.
bit of an old-fashioned description of what this is.
Yeah.
But do you feel, incidentally,
No.
not that there's a you there, feel more human in relationship with people than before?
No, I don't feel more human.
Or less.
You know what I mean?
Less.
I don't feel more.
I know you can argue that in your terms, but does it feel more natural? I mean, I know when I speak to you,
Well, of course,
it feels very natural.
Well, everything is natural. Nothing is extraordinary and nothing is special in that sense. So in that sense, of course, everything is natural. Every movement, every thought, every feeling, including meeting people, of course. Yeah, totally, of
Yeah.
course. Yes.
Are you recording that, Andreas?
Okay.
Are you recording that?
Yes.
Because it's a good talk.
Yeah.
You've got that. This is a good.
That was
talk.
Eileen. I'm going to put it now.
I think maybe I will sample this in again and again.
Yeah. Every other sentence.
This is a good talk.
This one.
You wanted to say no, alright.
Andreas, what really came across to me when I was talking to you in the kitchen is just how expressive, it might not be you, but that body is. Like, it's just full of expression and joy, like it was coming across so strong. But
It's
you're,
so human, isn't it? It's just so human.
did you notice it? That he's so expressive.
It's so
That happens when I'm not at home. At home I'm like, yeah.
Have you done the dishes?
I was going to ask if it has anything to do with the me dropping, but now I know the truth. Well, what I was going to ask is, so if that was a result of the me energy, or that contraction leaving, that the body becomes more freely expressive, you wouldn't be aware if you've become more expressive.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, of course.
So it's meaningless.
It is meaningless. Oh yeah, totally, of course.
Because I thought
Even if there would be an apparent awareness about that, it would still be meaningless.
But it's not meaningless to the person who receives it.
Well, the person who receives it might attach meaning to it,
Yeah.
but it's meaningless. In a sense of, what the person connects with meaning is basically, does this give me something on my path towards fulfillment? So the person would say, maybe if I would be more expressive, I would become more happy by being so. But in that sense, it's completely meaningless. It doesn't give me anything. It doesn't give me anything to do these talks. It doesn't give me anything to be as I am. Nor does it take anything away from me. Which is basically what the person thinks. If I would be in that way, I would be more happy. Or if I am that way, this robs happiness from me. And that just never happens. So in that sense, it's meaningless.
That's what I was thinking when you were talking.
Same with the dropping of the me. The person thinks when the me drops or when this illusion pops, I'll be more happy afterwards. But that's just not the case.
And
There's
there,
just no one there anymore.
and there wouldn't be a possibility to compare a before and after anyway, would there?
Anyway, those comparisons are part of the dream anyway. Where there is a person looking at something and then comparing it to something else that it can look at. But this I'm here looking at this or that is the dream. So there is no, this whole game drops, of course, or is part of the dream. I'm happy, I'm not happy, should I be like that, could I be like that, is this better or worse? But yeah, as I said, one could say when there is no one, there's nothing there holding oneself back. But there's also nothing there needing to express.
Yeah. Jim said that to me once, that I project a lot of my hopes onto how the speakers are, and I think if I become like that, and that's what you said, the hope is if I'm more expressive I'll be happy or something, I start thinking, that they're not there, and then projecting my hopes of what I think that would be for me.
Of course,
Onto
and
you
it's kind
or
of
Jim.
guessing. That's what the person does anyway. It kind of guesses. Maybe if I'm like that, maybe this makes me happy. If I'm more like that, this makes me happy. So if you think, of course, I'm someone who is happy, which is the dream, of course, I'm not. No.
We will get away from home.
People really think I'm happy. Which is the dream already, thinking that there is someone who is happy, and then that how I am makes me happy. That's the dream, of course. But seen from the person, that's just how the person lives, of course. Or what it hopes for, actually, even.
I've never followed a guru, but I suppose in spirituality, that's why people want proximity to the guru, because they've projected onto the guru what they're looking for.
Oh, totally.
That he
of
has
course.
that,
Of
and
course.
if I'm close to him, I'll get it.
Of course, but the funny thing with the guru is that the guru confirms that by
That's it.
saying, yes, I have what you are looking for.
But when you're telling me you're not happy, you're smiling and you've got a grin, so I'm thinking he is happy.
Yeah, but that's just the surface.
But there's nothing behind the surface.
That's true. But it's just surface, yeah.
The guru that I followed, he had every day, certain time, 10 minutes grace time. I would just sit and chant 10 minutes so I could have his grace.
That was good of him.
10 minutes is 2 minutes.
He was a good
One more
person.
important.
It's a, yeah.
I mean, that's all this
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
with spirituality. I mean, you can project all the hopes and wishes and all longings and all desperation and the whole promise of fulfillment into this one idea of one day I'll be enlightened. I mean, that's the attractive thing about this idea.
And when you say the guru confirms it, the guru wants to be perceived as a certain way, is what you're saying, by the people.
No, in a way, the guru, usually at least, I mean, it's very simplified, but he believes in the same story. So the seeker thinks the guru is someone who has found, and the guru thinks that he is someone who has found. And he presents the answer that the person is looking for. But they both believe in the same story. Namely that there are me's, and that some me's have it, and that some me's don't have it, and that there is a guru, and that there is a disciple, so they all believe the same thing. And that's what I mean. It's not only that the seeker projects its hope onto the guru happily confirms it, and in the end projects himself into the seeker by saying, you are someone, you could become like me as well, and as I have been a seeker in the past, you are a seeker now. I couldn't confirm really that there ever has been a seeker in the past, nor can I confirm that there is someone now here who has found. It's all the dream.
And you're not trying to promote a better state either.
Oh no, of course not. It was close. I almost forgot the note. No, I don't promote any state.
And you can't help what state that body's in, anyway. As I can't help what state this body finds itself in, whether that's depression or joy.
Well, yeah, one could say so, yeah. I mean, those things aren't states. But yeah, of course, this is totally out of control. How this is, or how anything is. It's just what apparently happens, of course. Yeah. And so, in that sense, there's nothing on offer.
I will never believe that, though, will I?
Ah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, the person will say, that's on offer, that must be, that is special. When there's nothing on offer, that's really special. But no, that's just...
I'm just thinking if I'm hearing it, it's a special message, and I'm special because I'm hearing it.
Yeah, that's the hope, yes.
Could you say that this is what everybody really is searching for?
Yes and no. On the one hand, yes, but what the person is searching for is to have an experience of it. So, not really in a way.
But they'd give up the experience if they thought they got it.
Again?
They'd give up the experience if they thought they got it. Like, let's say I was just speculating that this is what everybody's
Yeah, but I
searching
think my impression is the person can't comprehend that. It always thinks it's a personal thing.
for. Mm.
Liberation or fulfillment, whatever. So in a way, the person can't bear its presence, apparently, but it doesn't want to trade it for nothing. So the person seeks actually release, but for itself.
It doesn't want to have its presence, is that what you're saying?
No, it doesn't want to have its presence gone.
It doesn't want to have its presence gone.
Well,
It wants like a relief. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I forgot now. I lost it.
yeah.
Yeah, the person wants a relief here and there, but he doesn't want it to be completely gone. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, it's looking for its absence. On the other hand, it doesn't want to die. So actually, it's looking for the absence of its problems, or the absence of what it thinks is the problem. But it doesn't want to let go of itself.
Completely, yeah.
Exactly. That's why when you say, is the person looking for this?
Yes.
Not
True to
really.
say, yeah. It's looking for way out, but he doesn't know that the way out is the only way to disappear. So,
Exactly, exactly.
and
So
then he's blind. Oh, maybe
exactly. So
not this, not this.
So on the one hand, there's a deep longing for this, or the person is longing for salvation, but it can't want its death.
And it can't imagine what it is. So it thinks, so it's following these stories, the books, what the guru said, that's what it thinks it's looking for, which is a solution. But it can't for a moment understand what it's actually potentially looking for.
No,
And then I think, a story, right, but I think sometimes people can be hit with actually what they're looking for and it's terrifying. Or, you know, there can be a glimpse of it, can't it? What they're actually, and it's like, shit, that's not what I wanted.
oh, totally. Oh, of course. Oh, I had it like that.
Right.
I mean, actually, even before I met Tony, I had a moment like this where I knew Tony already, actually. Where it was totally clear. I was going around, not too much, but again, I want to lose the ego, I want to lose the I. And at one moment, it dawned on me that it's actually my death. But no, I wanted, exactly, whoa! I wanted to lose the ego, but it's not that I wanted to die. So for a while, I wasn't really happy going to the meetings. Yeah, of course.
It's so amazing.
Mm.
It is so amazing because I had that view many years ago. There's nothing but emptiness, whatever you call it. Nothing, no ego. And still I got caught in all this meditation and Zen and then Muji and everything. And finally now I hear this message so clearly. It's just so amazing how you can get caught again and again and again.
Yeah, of course, but it's all. I would actually say, as long as there is the sense of I am, it's actually inevitable to get caught in some way or the
Doesn't
other.
have to
Because it,
accept something.
yeah, and you can't. Yeah, as I said,
Yeah,
it's
I'm still
almost
in the same state.
inevitable.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
Same. I found now I found this.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you say that the presence itself is ontological loneliness?
Yes, of course. I am, and I'm separate from everything else. So the person feels lonely. I'm here, and there is this huge existence where I'm separate from. And I'm all by myself. And in that sense, there's nothing wrong with that, but on top of that, within the sense of I am, there is this sense of separation and unfulfillment. That's basically unfulfillment. So it constantly feels as if I'm wrong, as if something is wrong. So I'm separate, I'm lonely, something is wrong. That's how it is to be someone.
So in the absence of a me, there's no ontological loneliness.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
Is it that kind of, sorry, have you finished? Is it that kind of loneliness that the person experiences why it's constantly trying to pull in comfort?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you can't really say is it the loneliness or is it's a whole bundle of things. They just all go together. I mean, in the end, it just seems to be that one's own presence, to be separate, is kind of like a tension field in itself. And for the person, it feels as if one's own presence is unbearable. To just be here, it just seems to feel uncomfortable, without story, without any direction, without any goal, without to just be here and, so to speak, sit here in the room for no reason at all. That in itself feels uncomfortable for the person. It's a dream. That presence and the uncomfortableness of that is dreamt. It's not real, but that's how it feels for the person.
And when you say it's like a tension field, because Jim often says, I like that.
Yeah, there's something here, can't rest, it can't.
Oh, I know, that's perfect.
Well, yeah, I see.
Because Jim often says the tension that the person isn't recognised until it falls away. So it's not even. What is it? The tension? Is it a physical tension? Is it an energetic? I want to know what it.
Well, I suppose is it that you're in the public eye if you're on it as a person. You're in the public eye. That's quite a tension, isn't it? You've got everybody's judgment on you.
Well, I would say that's just on top. That's just side effects. But
The tension isn't anything intellectual. It's just.
That's a funny thing. It's basically something how the person describes itself, but it's not really happening. So the question like, what is this tension really, is the same question like, who am I? And there's never an answer to that. But I can't tell you. That's just what seems to be happening.
But when it drops, is it revealed what the tension?
Nah, not really. It doesn't matter anymore what the tension is. It's just utterly surprising that this can go as well. Which until then seemed to have been the basis of my life, my presence, me being there, me somehow being aware, and that suddenly this can just go as well. Boop. Not even that.
It gets called contracted energy. I think Jim and Tony call it contracted energy. Tension, same thing, right?
Mm. Yeah, a sense of presence. I think it can feel much more subtle than this contracted energy. It just can feel very.
Just being in the body, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sense of
something
being
being
in the body.
there, which is me.
But you're saying it's not real and it's not there, like the illusion of me, and it
That-
only feels real to me, but
Exactly,
it's not actually there.
exactly. And that doesn't make sense at all.
Which can't be understood.
It's not logical.
But it's not real, it's not there, it's only real to itself, which is an illusion anyway.
Exactly. And even that doesn't really happen. There is nothing there which is only real to itself.
Yeah.
That too just is what apparently happens.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So in that sense, this is just how the me was describing itself. I'm here. There is something that's here. Self-awareness, a presence, a soul, something that experiences itself. But it's not there. One can't know anything about this. Every knowing about what the me is and how it feels and what it actually does is completely part of the dream. I know that I am is the illusion. No one knows that they are, no one knows what they are, who they are.
So with that energy, that everything else rises, is it? Like everything gets real then?
Yeah, but one could say so. That with this illusion that I'm real, there seems to be the impression that this is real as well. It's actually the person projecting itself onto everything. I'm something that's now here, so the floor is something that's now here. I'm something that's now here, so you are something that's now here. It's only projecting itself onto everything and adding this sense of reality.
But again, I'm not the doer, so who is doing it? It just happens.
Oh, that too just is what apparently happens. It never really happens. Of course not. No one's doing it.
So when the reality falls out of everything, does worrying about what might happen drop completely?
Worrying might happen out of functioning, but there isn't anyone who's worried about being a fulfilled or an unfulfilled me. I think that's what the person worries about. If this happens, will I still be able to be happy?
Yeah.
And this drops completely. But of course, out of functioning, worrying may happen. Is there smoke? Well, stuff like that. That's just what happens.
Yeah, no, it's the worrying that and the worrying goes on about was like, it's kind of, how would I be affected if that happens? You know?
Exactly. Will I be happy again if the house burned down? This stops. This is dread suffering.
That's just what's happening.
Well, too. Which one?
The burning of the house.
Exactly. That's just what apparently happened. I'm totally unaffected.
But that must be where the need for detachment comes from. Because the person's so worried about, I won't be able to cope. So if it detaches from, I don't want to keep saying about the bloody house,
totally. It's a nice personal idea. Then the person says, okay, I'm so impacted by this, and so maybe I can become free of it if I detach myself from it.
It's an idea of being free, me being free.
Me being free from my thoughts, my feelings, from the world, so to speak. Oh yeah, of course.
But this kind of freedom is beyond the need to not feel a certain way.
Exactly.
Or...
Yes, it's not coming from turning anything wrong. I mean, detachment is basically identifying something as wrong, and spirituality is the world. Everything, basically. Because for the person, everything has the potential to threaten one's peace, so to speak, very simplified. So if you want to be totally free, you have to reject everything. That's what spirituality makes, at least parts of it.
Yeah. Like
And it's a logical idea. It's coming from the personal experience, and it sounds like worth a try, maybe.
Yeah. I tried it and it didn't last long before I got upset again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's why in spirituality they would say it's a very deep and intense and meaningful and challenging path. Because of course you never succeed. You always have to do it again and again and again.
Because it's almost like being in a state of complete neutrality. So instead of feeling joy or sadness or whatever, you're just in this kind of neutral state where nothing makes me too happy, but nothing makes me too sad.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me too angry. Nothing gives me too much joy. So I'm very kind of calm and centered and neutral. Is it like that?
And this is only fun as long as you believe that it's worthwhile to be like that.
Yeah. I think everyone does it to some extent, even without being into spirituality or having detachment as a
Of course, because the person is detachment. The person is separation, but then it thinks, maybe I'll be really free when I totally detach. Of course. I mean, the person always takes itself as an answer.
I've just realised...
Any teaching it does is the person taking itself just being more perfect.
Yeah, because I've just realised now in this conversation, I tried to do the detachment practice, it didn't last for long, but everything I'm experiencing, I'm unaware, but I'm trying to be detached from it so it doesn't hurt me too much.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the person tries to have the right distance. Well,
it's constant,
too distant is too boring, too close is too intense. So the person thinks I have to find the perfect distance. Because if it comes too close, it'll eat me up. And if it's too far away, I'll die out of boredom.
So the person is answer to everything but nothing.
Well, there was no problem. There was no question in the first place. So it itself is the answer to its own problem. How can I become fulfilled? By being more aware. I'm aware, but maybe I'll be happy when I'm really aware. I'm awake, but maybe I'll be happy when I'm really awake. I experience myself as present, but maybe I'll be happy when I become totally present. I'm not really attached to everything. Some things I don't care already, but I come free when I really detach. But it's all based on what it already experiences. And it never works, of course, because this whole thing is dreamt. There isn't anyone in the first place.
And also it never really works. It has to be ongoing.
Well, yeah, but again, which is the person's experience anyway already. I'm here and there is something going on.
It's incredible, going back to what Peter said at the beginning, that this isn't more widely seen, isn't it?
I think that. I just can't believe them. I've given up now, but more people aren't interested. Early on, I was telling people that, and they're like, "Yeah, whatever, just not interested."
Not in
And I thought, well, you're not even going to Google it at all, or think about it? No. But now I just accept it.
Not even Google it.
Well, this is the thing, you're telling somebody about the true nature of existence. You think they're being not interested at all.
Telling people stuff
I've,
that don't exist.
Yeah.
I've a friend, he bought some of my books and he gave them to his friends as a present. And he said it felt a bit like just throwing a book into an abyss. Into an abyss. There was never an answer. There was never even anything coming back. It was just like giving the book He's not giving my books away as a present.
The thing is, I've heard some people say this. I've heard some people say this on Zoom meetings, and I've experienced this too. Sometimes you'll talk to someone about this. It could be a friend or family, and you see those first couple of minutes where they're kind of like, "Yeah," and then suddenly it's rejected because you can see a slight openness for a bit, and then.
No, well, they are open to the idea that it might be useful for them, but they were never open to this.
And that's why they shut off when they're like, "It's not."
Of course, the moment when it becomes obvious, energetically, not even
As
up
long
here.
as it's similar to my ideas and everything,
Exactly.
used and
Exactly.
as soon as they hear nothing,
But,
so better not to talk to anybody. Anyway.
exactly. And
It's harmful as well. It's no. You cannot explain it, and if somebody is not coming to you to ask, it's better not to talk.
not, yeah, exactly.
Too
Yeah.
disturbing. I've met people really, really disturbed by this. The next day they went crazy, like because I talked to them about it.
Absolutely. And on the other hand, it's true, there is no one who needs to hear this. 'Cause it's perfection already. So, in a
Coming
way,
to anybody talk about it.
so it's not really, hey, come on, I have to tell you
Yeah,
something.
You see,
Witness, Jehovah Witness.
Yeah.
when I was a spiritual seeker, I wanted to convert all my loved ones. I wanted them to see the light. With this message, I don't share it with anyone because I find it impossible to even, and I just think they're not there anyway. What's the point of telling people you're not there anyway? In a way,
Oh, totally, of course. Oh, yeah.
So
I don't share
it
this
just
message
finished,
with
just-
anyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't tell anyone.
Andreas, so when you said people might have that first couple of minutes of openness when they think, what might this give me? So would you say the openness of the people in this room, if we feel like we are separate, is beyond what we might get from it?
Oh, totally.
It's
Oh,
resonance,
absolutely.
isn't it?
Yes.
Just-
Because
Yeah.
we
Just-
sort this message out in a way. Like,
No, not at all. No. No, the openness for this message just is what apparently happens for no reason at all. In that sense, it has nothing to do with you.
it's beyond the idea of what we'll get.
Totally, of course, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And tomorrow it could happen, theoretically, that 90% of the people would be interested in this message. There is no real obstacle. It would just be what apparently happens.
I can't see it.
Oh, not at all.
Because that's something I've heard Kenneth get asked quite a lot, is do you think this will become mainstream? And he always goes, it will always be an unpopular message kind of thing.
Who knows?
And guys, there's a choice there, isn't there? That you can choose to have it or not have it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
You'd be very rich, Andreas.
But a lot of people want to start faking it.
Well-
They don't want to start.
I also can have dreams.
No, you would honest not being, because if everyone saw it your way, then you wouldn't have any more customers, would you? You have to go and get
Yeah,
another
but
job.
I might still make it through.
You come up with something else. No, this is the newest version. You're all on 2.1. I've got 2.2.
But I cannot see this being acceptable in the mainstream amongst humans.
Oh, of course, it will never be acceptable. And
That's-
I don't
that's
see it
irrelevant,
coming
is
as
it?
well.
If it's accepted or not.
Doesn't matter at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. If it happens,
It happens.
it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way it can only be not accepted. Acceptance isn't an option, is it? Really?
And I suppose also even accepting this isn't a prerequisite to listening to it, because there's times I'm listening to it thinking this isn't acceptable, but I can't stop. Yeah, you're right. It isn't about a choice.
But there's no need for this to be accepted or not. There's no need for
Not at all, no.
this.
No, sitting in a room doesn't care about it being accepted or not,
Yeah, everything.
at all. War in Ukraine doesn't care about it being accepted or not. It's just what apparently happens.
What's happening, yeah.
And this message, so to speak, isn't anything than what apparently happens. So, of course,
It's not special in that sense, is it?
not at all, no.
Acceptance is
Sitting in
dual,
a
isn't
room
it?
is
Acceptance is dual, isn't it? It's relative acceptance.
Yes, in the end, it always comes from a position of not acceptance in the first place. Of course.
And the one asks, where do I go from here?
Where is this question coming from? No, there is no one. No.
See, there's often said that there's no opposites. And like we were talking about suffering earlier on, or seeing the sun, the wholeness, like, or the suffering like you have the fear. And you can see the fear as not your fear, it's just what fear is, like what you say, full on. But the difference, I think, for me, that there is an opposite that still knows that fear is not mine.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's why this message isn't knowing that it's not your fear or something. Because that is the basic separation. I'm here, and this situation is opposed to me. I'm here, and feeling fear is separate from me or something else than I am.
So saying that there's no opposites, it's on to do with the me, not with like the dark and the light or the good and bad, or it's only to do with the sense of me. Or me projects the good and bad.
Yes, exactly. By actually already living in a real world made out of separation and opposites. I know, that was clear.
Yes, the question is clear.
Can listening to this message have changes in the functioning of the brain?
You're after an answer.
Well, I want to know what's happening and I want it to be real. So that's what
I'm doing well so far.
No, but I mean.
I don't know.
What about lamps?
Hmm?
What about lamps?
Lungs?
Yeah, check lamps. Or liver.
Well. Let's not talk about the liver.
Yeah, the lungs can repair themselves.
Apparently.
Apparently.
thinking there is something different or there's an opposite. It's only for the me.
Yes.
So if the me is not here,
Yeah.
there's nothing else here. This is what it is.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. But without turning this into something.
Yeah.
The thing is, the moment you have something real, you could imagine it to be different, an opposite. But this isn't experienced as something in the first place. So the person would say, okay, this is sitting in a room, but could it also be standing in a room? But the dream starts with experiencing this to be something certain. This is like this. All right. And this opens up the possibility for this potentially being different or opposite or something.
Or something else, kind of.
Or something else, exactly. But the dream starts with I'm now here and this is something that happens. That's the dream.
Yeah. So for the me, it's already something different.
So to speak, one could say so, and it's already, as I said, I'm here, and this is something else, which is already kind of an opposite to me, in a way. I'm here, and this is, I'm facing it. And then life and death become opposites, everything. It lives in this dual reality, or in this objectified reality in the end, where everything is different from each other. I don't know, that's proper English. The glass is different from that, and that is different from the table, and the table, it's already like opposites, differences, different objects. And happiness is different from sadness, and sadness is different from anger, and life is different from death, and deep sleep is different from waking state, and good is different from bad. And you have those opposites, but actually also everything in between. It's not only black and white for the person, but there's a lot of greys in between.
So my difficulty comes when they're like, but at the same time, it doesn't need to change because me is already illusion.
That's the thing. This experience, to live in this dual reality, it's never real. The world that the person believes to live in never existed. This is not a real room with real people in and made out of objects. It doesn't happen. It's a dream the person lives in, but it never happens. There are no objects here. There is no one experiencing a real room with real people in it. It's not happening.
I love hearing that though,
Yeah, that's the freedom.
That's just, I love hearing that.
So in that sense, even in the apparent collapse of this illusion, nothing will change really. It's a surprise, and it's not logical. Of course, what I say is not logical, but that's a surprise. The person thinks if I die and if this whole objectified experiences drops, it must be totally different, but it will turn out that it's not different at all. Because there never was a separate experiencer. And these aren't objects. In a way, the person experiences them as, oh, that's separate from me, that's a real thing, and that's another real thing, I'm aware of it, and it never was separate.
It's already like that.
Exactly, all the time, so to speak.
So it is just what it is, and every story is, the story creates the objects, the narration.
No, in the end, the experience. It's not the story about the glass which turns this into an object. It's the energetic experience of I'm here and I'm aware of this.
Okay, I kind of lump the two together, but
Yeah, all right, okay.
So the thing has a lot to answer for. Thing.
Think.
Thing.
Yeah.
No, thing. Thing.
Yeah.
Thing has a lot to answer for. The whole word, the whole idea of a thing is duality.
Exactly. The impression that there is one thing instantly creates the second thing.
Yeah.
So thing, the word thing could sum it all up
Well,
actually.
thing
Yeah.
just
There are no things.
There are no things.
There isn't one thing, there is no me, and there aren't things around it.
so no, you're right. So you've got whatever this is. The moment the concept of thing comes, and it's like, you know, everything solidifies.
Exactly.
Thing makes more things. The Taoists talk about the 10,000 things, don't they? And that's the idea, that we create the 10,000 things. We, me, somehow creates this. And a
Totally.
reality and a world and a story and a narration.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not that.
It never happens.
Yeah.
It's the illusion of that.
Yeah.
And that's why non-duality or duality is actually, for the person it's plurality. For the person it's a world made of numerous objects,
Well,
parts,
infinite
infinite
things.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very simple really, isn't it?
Yes. And it's all based on the assumption that there is one thing in the first place. Me.
Me. And I'm the boss.
And suddenly there is there.
And I can do
And then
things.
suddenly you have this. Well,
Do you think that's why they're always trying to discover more and more and more and more?
for example, that's a way of seeking, yeah, more and more parts, and they will find more and more parts.
No,
And
but I
again,
mean, even in
it's-
terms of like science wanting to discover more, I don't know much about science, but like universes or whatever they're trying to discover, do you think that kind of inquiry would still go on if there wasn't that experience of there being separate things?
I don't know actually. I have no idea.
There could just be a natural curiosity.
They could just be functioning, yeah. But I don't know. But I assume as the inquiry, I might, of course when there is no one, the inquiry into oneself would stop, self-inquiry. Of course the science to find the truth would stop as well. I guess, I don't know.
You just sit back.
Well, no.
You just you don't sit back. You don't sit back. Sitting back may happen.
They already found actually that there is no ego, there is nobody in the body deciding.
Yeah, but
there is
they can't-
nothing there, but they don't know what to do.
But they
It's
can't
just
deal with
story.
it at
It's just
all.
story.
Yeah, exactly. For them it's just again useless information. Like this message is for the person. Of course. But like in spirituality, like in self-inquiry, people can almost find out that actually there is no me, and the scientists look at their results. Oh, there is nothing real actually.
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then they go, what am I going to have for tea?
No, exactly. No, then they go on seeking for
Yeah.
pleasure or
Yeah.
to make themselves feel good.
Binging on Netflix.
It's funny, I think when I was here for the first time, you showed me a video of a scientist, YouTube.
That's what I was saying.
On YouTube, you showed me a video of a scientist when I was here for the first time, I think. And it was basically in the first 2 minutes, he was presenting the results of what they found out, and it was basically non-duality. And the last 3 minutes of those 5 minutes was what he thinks this means for mankind. And this was something spiritual. We are all one and we should be happy and peaceful and love each other and stuff. It was just made up stuff.
I think you've heard me saying that.
Yeah.
Well, the ideas of what it means for mankind, like we should be peaceful and love each other and stuff, doesn't that come out of the sense that there's a real world going on?
Yeah, of course. And the hope and the need for an answer.
And that you can do something about it.
And that you need to do something about it.
Not
Not
and
only,
can. Need and can, yeah.
yeah, not just as a hobby, but that there is a need that it
right,
needs to
okay.
change actually.
Because you're not worrying about world peace.
No.
There's no world.
Is that because there's only sitting in a room?
No, it's
So there's no world.
no, it's
that
because
needs-
everything already is at peace, being itself.
everything's at peace.
Oh yeah,
Being
of course.
itself, yeah.
Oh yeah, everything is at peace, being exactly what it is. Every thought, every feeling, every action, every chair, this whole thing is in peace.
This is at peace, but if we walk down the road and see two people hitting each other, we'll try and stop them.
Well,
Because that's not at peace.
That's what apparently happens.
You'll go, that's what I think.
that's how I would react. Hmm. Well, there's no real reason, but this whole impression that there is a world. So,
That's an abstraction
There's
the
no-
person adds on
exactly,
to what's
it's
happening.
already, yeah, exactly.
So there's just sitting on a chair having a conversation, and the me goes, what about all these things that could be happening?
Yeah, but this already is inexperienced. It's not coming back to this. The least thing that I can say is, okay, we are sitting here, there's nothing to think about more, it's just this. No, it's not even this.
That's what I'm trying to do, reduce it to just this.
Exactly, that's what the person wants. Reduce it to at least one simple truth. But you can't reduce this to one truth.
Well, you know, most speakers, when they start talking, they say, this is all there is. Sitting in the chair, looking at the computer,
Yeah, I
seeing the
know.
faces,
Yeah, I'm one of them.
and you're one of them.
It's wrong. Sorry. Yes, it is this, but not for someone. But that's not logical, you can't. Because the person would immediately say, okay, it's this is the experience of this.
Yeah.
And that's not this message, actually. You can't boil it down to...
This moment kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, which would be a simple truth.
Because I just think, this is all there is, the room, there's nothing outside,
No,
but
it's not
I
this
can't
message.
really see the nothingness of it. I'm seeing the real side of it, I'm not seeing the unreal, but I know there's unreal side of it. You know what I mean?
Yes, but this would still be a knowing.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
coming from
yeah.
the knowing.
Yeah. But this is not what this message saying, like this moment is everything that exists. And you shouldn't bother about anything else. That's basically how they would implement peace or something.
But right now, the war in the Ukraine, it's an idea. It's not like this, that is happening. Otherwise, that would then imply that there's a world, there's outside, world, and millions of people out there, they're all leading some kind of lives.
Oh no, nothing is really happening. But there's also not the discrimination between, okay, now there is a thought about Ukraine, but not Ukraine. No,
Thought is an idea, Ukraine is an idea.
exactly, nothing of that is really happening.
Yeah.
But no one knows this. It's not that there's someone here knowing that there is no war in Ukraine.
It wouldn't be because it's oneness. Even the oneness is not the right word, is it? Right?
Yeah.
Because then it implies that one and two.
So when you say this is already at peace being itself,
Yeah,
the person wants to create peace because it feels like this isn't at peace.
exactly. The person thinks the peace is an experience or something that it can be aware of.
Because the person feels the tension and then projects what's the problem I need to deal with. And it's seeking, isn't it?
Yes,
Looking for peace.
yeah, of course. As if this isn't at peace already. As peace is something that needs to be done or created by someone. That's the dream.
Sometimes I just think there's there's no way I can know this.
That's
you know?
true,
And
yeah.
then just let it go, you know? I mean, who is letting go anyway, but that's what happens. Nothing can be done. you know?
Yeah, there is no arriving in holiness, because all there is holiness.
Holiness.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 minutes later, I'll be asking you another question. Good to be here with you anyway, nonetheless.
Thank you. There is
I'm with everyone
There is no
else. There's no one. Seeing William turning up is nice, you know, being in the same room with him, apparently.
Yeah, it's lovely being here. I'm still waiting. It's lovely being here. I'm just still waiting. I'm still waiting to hear the truth, but I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
It's coming tomorrow.
But yeah, shall I come back?
Yeah. Save the best till last, you know.
usually on Sunday, in the last 10 minutes, it happens.
Or at least just an email afterwards, just like that was a joke, you're real, you know, something to comfort the need.
Just call home and just say I'm staying. Are you comfortable there? Do you want to swap seats?
I'm
so
fine.
comfortable here.
No, I'm fine. I'm used to
It's actually floating on that chair, it's actually sitting on it.
this. Exactly.
That's it. There's no one, nobody.
Actually, even given that you're sitting up, like facing us, would the message have any different like impact if you were just sat amongst us? Like, would it lose that kind of power?
Bless your heart.
There's no message.
Do you get what I mean though? Like, it feels like it has an impact because you're all sat facing us.
You think there's
Practical.
Yeah. Pretty quickly it would turn out like this, but just facing me.
Yeah.
I think like you were saying earlier, and this is just as a whole, this is just a view, not separate as like the glass, but I don't know. This I don't know where the seeing is happening or it's collective, like, but there's no meaning in any of this.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's not separate because there's no one here. The seeing doesn't start with the me. In enough the whole thing of this. Like there's no separate people.
Exactly.
No
There aren't
things
separate.
happening. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, this is undivided.
Yeah.
There are no objects.
You see, then I want to see that.
Yeah.
That nothing is undivided.
Yeah, but this won't happen. It's already coming from a dream of separation. Sorry.
There are also no separate seeing happening.
No. Oh, yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's just exactly as it is. For no one.
So yeah, you can say it's this.
Yes, but for no one again.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
That's
this.
really all you can say, other than going into stories and
Yeah, but even that's kind of not saying anything really. So
what saying it's this.
Yeah.
You can't pare it back anymore, can
Yeah,
you?
exactly. Yeah, but no one is saying anything.
Okay. Well,
No-
I
no
see
matter-
what you mean.
yeah,
Even
no matter-
saying it's this
It isn't saying
is
anything.
because it's an observation from a separate player in something that isn't separate.
What would
so,
that mean
yeah.
exactly? It's this. Which this? What? Yes.
So there's just nothing then. It's just
Exactly. Nothing is being said. In opening my mouth, the truth remains unspoken. The truth. There is no truth.
that's
What did you say? Nothing has been said. Is that the phrase?
Yes. All the time. Nothing true, nothing real is being said.
So even when you're talking, you're not really saying anything
That's true,
of
yes.
any kind of value
Yes.
or substance or.
Yeah.
because any value, substance, any observation is doing the thing. It's blowing it up into a conceptual model, a universe, and
Exactly.
a world,
yeah.
and all of that. So
Trying to say something on how it actually is. Yeah.
trying to limit it essentially.
Well, yeah, that is the limitation.
Right.
To even assume there to be something. To assume there to be a circumstance of how it actually is. There is no how it actually is.
So it's only resonance, really, is it? Only resonance. The message. Not even resonance, but
Yeah. Yeah, there is no real message in that sense.
no.
But there is an energy that arises when you're sharing this, surely, compared to when you're just at home doing day-to-day tasks.
What does the
Like a passion or something. When you say there's a certain energy, the message to the message.
He just wants to get away from home.
That's the passion.
I have to cut all this out. Well, only apparently, not really actually.
Andreas, I know this might sound a bit weird, but I really feel like I want you to give me some direction. And I know you might think I've come to the wrong person. But it feels, what you're sharing, that this is nothing. As strange as it might sound, it feels like there has to be a direction to that.
Yes.
Is that because the person's apart, already experiences itself as being away from nothing, and
Yes.
it wants to find a direction to get back to nothing?
Well, only in a way, the person's only question is, what's the right path? And here it might think that knowing this message might be the path or something. Yeah, that's the only question the person has actually. In asking any question, who am I? What should I do? What's the right path? What's the answer? It's always asking for the right path. How should I be? How should I not be? Should I go this way? Should I listen to this? Should I not listen to this? Should I do something else? In a way, that's the only question the person has. What's the path?
And I mean, I suppose everyone's story is different, but for me, I'm just constantly hopping from one thing to the next and back and forth.
Whatever. Yeah.
But this message seems inescapable, like.
Well, it is everything. Of course, it is inescapable. This message, it is what apparently happens. So, of course, wholeness, the natural reality, fulfillment, however you want to call it, it is inescapable. Of course, there is no one separate from it. You are surrounded by it. You are it. Every thought, every feeling is it. Of course. Again, one could say that's why there is no path towards it, because it already is this. Sitting here, apparently thinking to be someone, seeking for a direction, is wholeness. That is what we talk about. It's this, literally. Not as a hidden pointing to something, not pointing to a hidden reality. Where is it? No, it is this.
So you
There is nothing else.
You couldn't guide someone to the truth.
Not a
because
single bit.
There's nothing that isn't this.
Exactly. And the whole idea that there is a separate truth that people could be guided towards, that is an illusion.
Most people that I know, obviously, I would say are still seeking. They're not directly seeking in a spiritual sense, but
I mean,
they're
it's,
seeking in whatever.
it's all the
drink,
same.
food.
Yeah, of course. And they have their direction. They think they know what gives them pleasure or what gives them fulfillment.
And that's the best the person has, is getting more pleasure and more satisfaction, or trying to.
Yeah, one could say so. The best the person can have is the assumption to be on the right path. The assumption that the method that I'm doing is the right one. No matter if it's money or spiritual, whatever. Of course. As long as I think that money will fulfill me, I'm happily working for money. As long as I think that meditation will fulfill me, I'm happily meditating.
And the crisis comes when you still feel like you are someone without a direction, like nothing works.
Or exactly, a crisis is when the method doesn't seem to work anymore. But usually very quickly it's replaced with something else. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not singing mantras anymore. I'm praying to God now. I made a huge step.
It does quickly look for the next method, the person.
Yes, exactly. The unexpected thing with this message is that it ends, so to speak, all the methods without replacing them. This is not a replacement. This is not the better method. Coming to these talks is not the better method. It's not a method at all. There is nothing going on here. But of course, the person is left with this feeling of separation and the need for a direction. How can I find my way back to wholeness? And in the end, it's exactly this question which remains unanswered.
You're right, this message ends all methods
Well,
without
apparently.
without replacing them.
Well, apparently.
I don't like when you have to apparently, but this message does add. It does take everything away about giving a replacement, you're right.
Mm.
Everything just seems to start losing significance and importance, chasing this or chasing that.
Yeah, because the significance was drained. It's not even really taking it away, the significance. It's just pointing out that those things never existed and they never were significant. Yeah.
But if there was someone who was so set in the dream that they've got a life and this is what's going to work to fulfill it, no matter how much they listen to this message, it wouldn't take all of that away.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's not the message doing something. It's not the message taking stuff away or trying to take stuff away. It again would just be what apparently happens. All right.
So any method is a process really, which is dual. Any process is dual.
Exactly. Yes. And it's just, in that sense, it's just a reflection of the personal experience. With the person's life, or my presence, or me being alive, is basically a process already. The person regards its life as a process.
Mm-hmm.
With this message, you are in front of the wall. In front of the wall.
Yeah.
Do not have question.
Yes.
The difference between the other messages you can.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what this message is. It's
Blind
illogical
everything.
and it's ungraspable. And every personal message seems to make sense. The person can experience, that's part of my experience. Absolutely. The person can nod and say, yeah, that's logical. It seems to make sense. And this doesn't, completely, not at all. It's ungraspable, it doesn't make sense, can't be used, doesn't point to anywhere, rips away the sense of reality.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's apparently gorgeous.
You love the ruthlessness of it, don't you?
Just a bit.
It's almost like the person's there squirming, like, oh no, don't illuminate my illusory presence.
Oh yeah,
as
it
big
doesn't
as
want it. Yes. Well, yes and no. There's a big joy in it, but not really for the person. That's true, yeah.
You could say the opposite, actually. You could say it's the ultimate gentleness, because every process is actually abusive.
Yes, one could say so, of course. Yes, some people call this radical,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's radical at all. Sitting in a room in Brighton isn't radical. It's very ordinary and natural.
On that,
Sit here and tell you that you need to heal your childhood, that you need to meditate for 10 years, that you should find yourself. That's radical.
And abusive in the sense.
And abusive, yes.
so
Yeah.
Tony says that the only
What?
act. Tony says that the only act. This message is the only act of compassion. All the other shit is just feeding an illusion and letting you run it. Like
Exactly.
you're saying, it's giving you stuff that isn't going to get you what. Well, it's not
Yeah,
going to give you anything.
And constantly confirming you're separate, you're
He's saying
separate,
it's,
you're
because
separate,
people
you're
say
separate,
it's
you're
awful, it's evil, it's
Oh no, it's amazing.
ruthless. It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's not ruthless. It's uncompromising, and that seems ruthless to the person.
Yeah.
That sitting in front of the street. No, sitting in a room. Yeah.
You're tired, and you're tired.
It happens all the time.
And repeat.
It's a habit, isn't it?
It's yeah.
Too many zoomings, I think.
No, no. Sitting in a room in Brighton is uncompromisingly itself, and for the person it's ruthless. It doesn't leave space for any trading, for manipulating and stuff. In that sense, it is ruthless, but it's whole and complete and naturally at peace, so to speak.
You could argue it's the ultimate method,
Yeah, I
losing
know.
yourself.
Well, yeah, if there would be a self which could
Yeah.
be lost, it would be the ultimate
Ultimately.
method. But that's what the Buddhists advertise with.
That's
Lose
right.
the I and everything will be perfect.
Is that what Buddha says? Yeah.
I don't know, but there is no I in the first place.
Yeah, when you say like processes are like abusive, it's almost like, you mean because it's kind of like a false hope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I get what, yeah, it's like telling you
Well, it's
yourself
not
hard enough,
only
you
that
feel
it's a
great, yeah.
false hope, it's starting with an illusion. That's the thing. It's not only that the path doesn't work out, there is no one separate in the first place. All right. I think that's
Now
it
that you've
already.
achieved your
That
objective
is
about being in
quick.
front of people.
Is it already?
I
So-
can't believe it.
It
I'm
is
place
quick.
going to have fun.
So, just, there is no message. There's nothing. What am I saying? Goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it.